This is the RBA atmosphere here today. Welcome on a Halloween night. We are in downtown Nevada, where we feature the RBA, a national basketball game of a national association brought to you by our national press. Our national press. We welcome you to an RBA game between the Nevada Nets and the Denver Suns. And this is going to be a very important game because this is how two teams are going to align themselves the rest of the way. And Denver, their last game of the season, possibly their last game as a unit with this group. So we'll see how they end up here in D1. Yeah, Denver and Nevada tied. Denver could actually win their division tonight. And they've won every... They've only lost to LAS. They beat LAW. They beat San Diego. They could win their division. They beat Nevada. They could get second place in their division without making it in the playoffs even, which is crazy. Usually they guarantee the spot, but that's a crazy situation there. Nevada, on the other hand, here we are. Could they lose their spot if they lose this game? Maybe. We'll check on that. We have to see this. Nevada beat San Diego. LAS beat Nevada. LAW beat Nevada, and then Nevada's tied with Denver. So really, Nevada only beat San Diego, and they lost to everybody else. What does the standings say for us? Denver 8-23, Nevada 13-18. They beat a lot of teams in that coastal, and that led them to a playoff journey now, with the leader Manuel Portas being a very good superstar player that he is, on a triple-double type of season he's having. Yeah, he's very good. And, 9.9, 9.8, I believe, actually. 9.8 or 9.9 for sure. Assists per game. If you can get that one up, or rebounds per game. He has a triple-double type of season. And a 13-18 record. That could go to 14-18 tonight. That's a big-time win for them. They could possibly get a higher seed in the standings right there and push up if LAW loses to Seattle. They could push up and play Seattle in the first round, causing an LAS-LAW first-round matchup as well. And that would make the RBA playoffs so interesting. That's why the West isn't even determined yet, but the East is. The East is determined now, but the West isn't. It's not determined yet. And this is why this game right here, I think the rest of the season doesn't even matter, but this game right here, Nevada wins it. They could get that 5 seed and conquer a lot. They will not be first in their division. I think LAW won it. Denver beat LAW. LAW beat 3 teams. LAS beat 3 teams, but LAW beat them. Nevada being the other playoff team. LAW beat 1 team. So far LAW is in first because they beat LAS. And then San Diego literally lost to everybody, lost their division, but still made the playoffs somehow. Yeah, every team beat San Diego, though, and they still made the playoffs. 11-21. No chance of not even making the playoffs. So, Denver... Well, if they win, they end at 9-23, which is pretty good. Not a playoff team, though, unfortunately.
Desocrano flying higher, soaring lower. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah! Let's go! Final game of the season for Denver. Nevada plays one more, and then we're off to the playoffs. Decide your hopes. No matter what, dude. You are a visitor for the first round, but decide now who you want to play. Either Seattle or LAS. Greg Lewinsky for 3. And this is why they're up for this game tonight. They're not resting at all. Well, Coach Kevin Welsh never announced any resting for anybody. Jenny for 3, no. Rebound by Kelvin Goodwill out to Manuel. Manuel down the rim. And he just a very talented point guard at a very high level. Jenny 3, yes, got it. Jenny Lewinsky for 3. Greg Lewinsky with the slam. Slash a slam. Manuel Portes for 3. Calvin Johnson for 3. Manuel Portes. Portes gets that one good. Jenny again. Aw. Not that time. Jenny Lewinsky had a good season up until the end there, and many people blame LiAngelo Brown, and that's where he has to take the accountability. Caden Goodwill. At the beginning of this season, these two made a trade, and Denver messed up big time with that trade. They could not acquire. It all started when they did not acquire Dan Hodges. They were going to keep their exact roster how it was and acquire Dan Hodges. Has been wow. See how he swoops in, and LiAngelo Brown doesn't even have a point until now. But wow. Greg for 3. Definitely will be doing some changes in the off-season. We will not see these two teams at the same length. We could see Nevada make a far run as Caden Goodwill. He's improved a lot. Aqua downgraded himself this year. Stephen Aqua for 3. And they've lost a lot of coaching spirits. Jenny and talking about how it might be her last season in the league. Greg Lewinsky for 3. Gaynor Paul rightfully retiring, though. Could that mean that they just switch their coach and run it back? Definitely then a depth change. But there will be a lot of discussion. Oh, look at that. Wow! Manuel Portes with a slam dunk. Calvin 3, no good. Rebound by Caden. Tony Portes for 3. 3. It's weird that we're not going to see Jenny Lewinsky in the playoffs this season. It's not usual to happen. Yeah, that's for sure. Manuel Missed that one up. We're at the 10-second mark. Here's Greg. Yes. Greg Lewinsky for 3. Manuel, pull up. Yes. Brown, no good. And there it is. No rebound. No one wanted to grab it after that. Here we go. Angelo Brown being blamed for the unsuccessful season is a stereotype that he said that he's not going to handle. He said he will take accountability that he has to be better next year. He was going through a lot of injuries, he said, and mentally he wasn't ready for the season, and that it went by so fast for him, and that they tried fixing those injuries with other guys that played point guard, specifically Greg is what the announcers asked what he was referring to, and they said Greg to be that guy. Because when they had Earl Lester, Coach Enzo Royal mentioned that he wasn't helping LiAngelo, and LiAngelo was only getting more hurt because he had to come in and push the game a little bit harder on himself. And the guy has a lot of arm issues already. He had injuries in Syracuse State, and he needs to trust into another guy to get the ball. And LiAngelo doesn't feel like he has that other guy. He doesn't have anyone else except for himself as an all-star. You see where I'm going with this? It's just like a one-man show, and he doesn't want to play like that anymore. Just like how Manuel passes the ball, he wants to be that pass-first guy. And Brown said, we're going to see how it goes. Once we get to the draft, we might keep our group right now and see what we can do to improve our group. Obviously, that's always the goal, to improve our group. But there won't be any hasty decisions quickly. Tony, Nevada Nets having a good season as a whole. Not the best season, but a much improved season than before. I'll tell you that much. Jenny, Nevada stood at the bottom of the standings, Manuel's rookie year, and now they're a top 5 team in the West if LAW loses. Isn't that interesting enough? Steven Aqua for 3. Bada 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 bum. Bum bum bum. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Manuel Portes. He's an absolute dog at shooting the ball, and he's just gonna continue to be a superstar and continue to rise as the best player in this league. As it, crowd really wanted him there, and he was getting into the groove right there. Welsh says the biggest accomplishment, other than his New York RBA championships, are drafting Manuel Portes. Could have taken anyone in that draft when Nevada had that first pick, and they only had Tony Portes as their squadron guy, who was absolutely unbelievable that 1 year alone, and took his team to the playoffs with nothing. Yeah, this Nevada team's always been a good playoff team, not a championship roster though. Caden, and that's a foul. They call it. He stepped into him. And see what you do? You accomplish a lot when other teams don't acquire guys. And they don't even care. They're a rebuilding team, yes, who started from the ground up. But this Caden Goodwill guy, he is special. He can hit the 3 ball at a good level. And Nevada's got shooters on their squad now. They're a much better roster than the previous year, like we mentioned multiple times before this season. Much better, much improved squadron. Carter Val! And a great pass. Those two were drafted at the same year. Not playing on the same squad in college. Manuel, 3! Manuel, float, no. And the late great Owen found Manuel from Mexico and told him, come play for my league. Caden, 3. Kelvin, no, and that's it. Halftime. Caden Goodwill, wow. And you look at the RBA draft during halftime. Nevada was the first pick in the draft, and they drafted this dog. Kelvin Goodwill. Mama, that man's special. And obviously we know Orlando got Justin Robinson. They become really good with that guy. Chicago traded their pick to San Antonio for Robin Shapiro, Randy Gore, for Scott Horford and Sebastian Curry as well. And the 20th pick next season pick goes to Chicago. 20th pick next season's pick goes to Chicago. So San Antonio's next season pick goes to them. It goes to Chicago instead of San Antonio. So they got to be careful about that. They're a low seed, and I don't know about that one. Seattle took James Snow. Toronto took Irvin Jameson, which they eventually got Andrew Bogut for. Oh my goodness. And they were going to get Mac Jack too, but they didn't. Minnesota took Lewis Reed. Eventually took Tommy Johns. New York kept Brendan Hollins. They wanted to regroup and rebuild. Cleveland's going to keep Doyle. Charlotte acquired Sean Thomas, their brand new franchise point guard. And then San Diego took Dan Hodges, which Denver was very upset about. They could have traded up, but they did not want to. Then Boston got a new point guard. Miami, and Washington was so close. They were gonna mess with them and take that guy and then have them trade for him and do a bunch of other stuff. But then Boston would have just taken Ryan C. Jr. And I think they would have not been happy with that. So I'm glad that didn't happen there. Yeah, Chicago could have taken Ryan C. Jr. They did not. They decided to do all that instead. Honestly, they could have. They could have kept Jamal Bellamy and kept their roster how it was. Curry, Horford, a lot of good players on that roster. It was Kramer, Curry, Omega, Brown, and who was their center? And Horford, and then skip out Horford, put him on the bench for obviously Jamal Bellamy. You might have a Bellamy, Brown, Omega roster, and then Curry and Kramer. That's actually a playoff team, I believe. I believe it is. Washington took Ryan C. Jr. Miami obviously took their James Freeman Jr. guy they wanted. And Denver's trade, because they didn't get Hodges, they couldn't agree with San Diego to do anything for him. San Diego wanted Calvin Johnson. They were smart with it. They were like, give us Curry, give us Beowana. Eventually they got Beowana anyway, so it didn't matter for them. They got what they wanted, but the other team didn't. Denver traded Bruno Clark or Denver traded their draft pick for Bruno Clark, which eventually got them Jenny and Greg when they traded Earl as well and a couple other guys. Dallas took Alvin, LAS took Pete Roberts, Baltimore wanted Senso Montanelli, which they eventually traded for Riley Bucket. Riley Bucket at the beginning of the season was on Nevada. Nevada made no space for him on this roster when they traded for Zayden Thorne. And they weren't going to start him anymore. They were like, we don't want you. You're the reason why we're losing. Literally what they told him. Nevada also took Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor eventually just got cut from out of the league, and he's not going to be returning. Bill Lyles on Orlando. That was a great pick. Matt Kersey on Chicago. Eventually traded out to San Antonio in a different trade. Lucas Palmer to Seattle. Eventually traded out to LAS. Toronto's Ray Stewart. Eventually, what happened to that guy? Did he get kicked out? I think he's on Charlotte. I don't know. Danny Ray, not in the league anymore. New York traded Noah Grover Jr. for Harold Andrews, which they could have literally acquired there and then, but they didn't. And then Cleveland took LaMarcus Aldridge Jr., which they traded to Charlotte. And then Philadelphia took Roy Hibbert, who they literally dropped. San Diego took Dexter Nixon Jr. Oh my goodness. Orlando acquired 3 guys from this draft, and they were all super good. Wow. Damian Cannon eventually went to Washington after all that. Miami took Jack. As you can tell, they don't move that much. Washington's Zach Mercer, who got dropped out of the league. San Antonio acquired him. Then they used him. I don't know if that was legal or not, to go ahead and make a 3-team trade with Oklahoma City and LAW. Denver took Andy Watkins Jr., who they didn't want anymore after a while. No, multiple things happened there on the aspect level. Not enough to keep him. Which they could still pull him up, but then they lose Thorne. No, they have 3 guys, so they can't. They can kick him next season. Gio Morin Jr. also didn't last in a league. Ricky McLeod, did. Baltimore traded for compensation to team to be declared to San Diego. They traded Matt West goes to Oklahoma City. Eventually went to Charlotte in that Cleveland deal, I believe, and then Luther Simpson just didn't play anymore, and then Rasheed Patterson didn't play. Shannon Smith, Chris Thomas, and Douglas Hayward started off the season as undrafted and never even found themselves a spot on the roster. If you name the amount of guys we've had that had that situation to happen, I think we'd be here for a while. I'm going to be honest with you completely. Yeah, well, Zayden Thorne is still not healthy, so he will not be playing tonight in his last game. They're hoping to get him recovered for the playoffs, but that's the report for Zayden Thorne. He is not in the game tonight. D'Angelo Brown and Denver, obviously the pressing team this season, as Jenny and Greg take the first rest with Stephen Aqua. A promising roster. Did not live up to expectations, did they? Nope. Not at all. Nevada is averaging 3 points more, or well, not 5 points more than that. But at the end of this game, their season will be over as Petler with a turnover. Bad start there for Nevada. Maybe a good run here for Denver could help them get going. They can win their last game and keep Nevada down. And get second place in their division. If they lose and Nevada wins, then Nevada gets third. LAS gets second, and LAW wins the division. Who would have thought that? The defending champions, huh? The defending champions also have never been eliminated in the first round in RBA history. We have never witnessed them. Either they always make it back to the finals, most 26 times make the conference finals, or if they don't do that, they'll make the second round and then lose. But they never don't lose in the first round. And this could decide Calvin Goodwill. So LAW plays Seattle or LAS. One of those teams is better than the other, I'll tell you that much. Portis, yes. So who does Denver like? Oh, good block by Noah Rose. Good defense there. Here's Tony for 3. Yes. Tony Portis for 3. Brown inside. Nice. Tony again for 3. Oh. I thought it was that time of the year where he goes off. Andy Watkins. Did he make the playoff or the All-Star team? Even though he had a pretty bad season. Tony Portis! They went on a 7-game losing streak, this Nevada team. I hope you know that. And they still did so well to push out and play well like this. Calvin missed. This Nevada team really pushed themselves to the limit this season. Beating San Antonio, beating San Diego, beating Dallas. That last little run, losing to LAS, losing to LAW, that's 0-2. Losing to Denver, that one game, that's 0-3. Losing to Seattle, that's 0-4. Losing to LAS, that's 0-5. Losing to San Diego, that's 0-6. Losing to Minnesota, 0-7. Losing to Boston, 0-8. Losing to Toronto, 0-9. Losing to Oklahoma City, 0-10. It lasted a very long time. And losing to Baltimore, 0-11. Losing to Miami, 0-12. So, it wasn't 7. I'll tell you that much. It was not 7. But it was actually Tony Portis. 12 straight losses. And they still made the playoffs. So Denver had that capability. I'm just letting you know. And you allow that to happen? You allow yourself... Which this team, actually, they beat them, too, in that 12 games. And Nevada didn't stop losing there. They lost a lot of games. Which means they must have been a very good team at the beginning of the season to have this good of a record. 13 wins, and it will be 14 if they win tonight. Greg, unable to. Tony finds Calvin, back to Tony. Yeah! And they are shooting lights out. Calvin doesn't want it, then Tony does. Tony doesn't want it, then Calvin does. Here we go. Calvin. Yeah! They've got an impressive group of guys. They're short-handed tonight as well. Tony, here out to Calvin, back. Oh. No turnover, no turnover. The chemistry got much better. Tony was like, where were you at those couple games? You got Zayden Thorne injured. You got us fucked up, man. 12 games, you were gone. And now you back. Let's go. Let's go win. Let's go win that championship. Calvin Goodwill was with them when they were losing that many too. And it was funny. These two have always actually strived together. They lost to Dallas and Goodwill wasn't there. And then he came back right away. He got recovered right away. He only missed one game against Dallas. And then they lost to San Diego when he returned, but he still had a hell of a game. I'm pretty sure he had a good game against them. 23. Manuel did all the work, though. 101 points. And still losing. They won. But Goodwill had a good game there. 23 points is a good number for the first pick in the draft. I mean, Nevada got the first pick in the draft. That won't be happening again. But you can see how good you can turn from getting that pick in the draft. I'm just so happy that they even got that pick. Because so many teams could have gotten that pick, and they did. They decided to get that pick. They earned the pick. They got lucky. They just didn't decide anything. They earned it. They got lucky. And they weren't that good in the 2K League, which led them to something even better in the Ranger League. So that's good for them. Caden way off. That thing threw us off. I think we should have used the season before. I think we did something. We mixed their averages together and put them in their best spot. Greg with a 3, yes. Manuel shoots and scores. Greg, and he's not giving up. This might be his last game with Jenny Lewinsky ever. If Jenny decides to retire, she might be done. She's having a kid. They might want to settle that one down. She's already an RBA champion too. You know that? In her younger days, she was dating Connor Val and got one championship with him. Calvin, yes! And a 3 is good. Shut up the crowd. Or shuts up Denver's run. It's 30 for Greg now. Jameson Brooks! Oh! And Manuel's like, why is he happy? He's not even going to be in the playoffs. He came back for no reason, he's saying. Caden, 3, yes. 15 points for Caden Goodwill. Greg got the rebound over his head. Gemma White, out of bounds. White might also want to retire. She doesn't have a ring. She just might want to settle down as well. She's seeing somebody named Connor Val. No, I'm kidding. She is seeing LeAngelo Brown though, so she might want to retire. And well, missed that one, Greg. Calvin with a steal. 3! He says, thank you very much. Come again. And Brown checks back in. And they give it to Gemma for 3. Yes. Another crush out game here in the RBA. Manuel, 3. Yes. Nevada is ready for the playoffs. 70% from 3. Brown missed. Rebound by Manuel. Manuel gives it to Tony. Oh, yeah. 23 there for Tony now. Angelo, Manuel. And Calvin to his brother. He wasn't going to let him slip out from under the ridge. Those two have always been together in college, everything. And yeah! Manuel saying he did it on purpose. As Jenny Lewinsky comes back into the game. Jenny, come to Nevada! Woo! Fans want him in Nevada as the backup point guard. Her and Greg come to Nevada. We'll make a trade for you. We'll just give you Tony. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to do it though. Tony Portis! This team is special. And they will prove that in the playoffs. How special are they though? That's for the playoffs to decide. Is Caden, yeah! 4 guys with 20 plus. They'll be interesting to watch for sure. As LiAngelo has 30 now. Tony out of bounds, turnover. Yeah! Could be Jenny's last game ever. She had a couple good breakout games this year and then many games that were questionable as a whole. Jenny, yes, got a 3 off. Calvin, oh. Manuel shoots, yeah. Do, 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 do. Manuel for 3, yes. Manuel Portis. We want to say happy Halloween to you guys one last time. That's a foul, and he'll go to the line. Oh. Yeah! That will do it for Nevada. And then, well, thanks the crowd for coming tonight. We will see you in the playoffs. He accidentally fouled. He apologized. They had a really good season. Wait. They want to talk to him. There's Manuel. And that will do it. Nevada and Denver are officially done with the season. And Enzo Royal tried his best with the squad. Couldn't get too far with them though. Stephen Aqua has a lot of decisions to make. Imagine he joins Baltimore. It's a free-for-all for the last season of the RBA, so if a player wants to go anywhere, they can just discuss a contract with the team and then do it. Carter Val Jr. could also want to go there, but I don't see why he would. He's having so much fun in Nevada as it is. Yeah, he loves it here. Let's talk to the man of all missions, player of the game tonight, Manuel Portis. Potentially an MVP this season because he didn't get it last season. And because of how great he is. Manuel, this is your 17th player of the game. How is that possible, by the way? You haven't even won 17 games. I don't know, man. Just going out there and grinding my heart out and playing hard. We'll give you 14. All right, thank you. You played really good tonight. Your offense was really good strategically. How do you feel about the win? Just came out and took care of business here in this crowd, and we love it, and we love the city, obviously. The city is a great thing in Las Vegas, man. We're in Vegas, baby. We got to be ready. We don't know who we're facing yet, so hopefully we know soon, you know. All we know that is if LAW loses this game, their next game, we kind of get the benefit of the doubt, you know. Obviously with factors being that they beat us, so we have to have a better record than them. So, I mean, we get the benefit of the doubt, if anything. If they tie with us, then we're gonna have to play LAS in the first round. But if they lose to Seattle, then, you know, it's going to come up to be an interesting RBA playoffs for sure. We're going to have to play Seattle then, and we want to wait for them. We want Seattle. You guys better beat LAW. We want you guys. I want you, Marvin Young. I want you, San Antonio Knight. I want to put that man's career to bed. Oh, you are a man of your word. What do you want to do in these playoffs when it comes to winning a championship? Let's go as far as we can. I can't promise anything. I'm sorry. Oh, but I think that we have a real good chance to make some noise. I don't want to be that guy that promises and doesn't deliver. I'm not that guy to talk. So I want to be that guy to promise and deliver. We got this new young core. It's our first year together. If anything, this is an experience. And I want to win with you guys. I want to win. I want to win. That's always the goal. I want to win a championship. So that's what we're going to go into our mindset. Our mindset's going to be completely different, though. Kelvin, I had a good talk with him before tonight's game even. And I told him, you got to get locked in tonight. You got to get locked in. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy after tonight. Tonight it's going to be crazy, but we're going to be away for a while. And we've got to make the best of our situation and play good basketball. We're hoping that we can do that. By the way, Manuel, your accent has really changed. What has Nevada been feeding you? Lots of buffet. Lots of fun. With the fans, with the team. Everywhere we go in the strip, we see fans, and we love it. We love Nevada. We're so blessed to have a city here, our organization here, and I don't know what I would be doing without this squad. I'm so happy to be a part of this team, and I'm excited. It's going to be very fun. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be very fun to witness us in the playoffs and what we can do as a whole. So I hope you all know that, and we can go out there and make some noise. Well, congratulations on a humongous win tonight. We hope the best for your team, and good luck with everything. Thank you. That will do it for RBA today. Thank you, RBA Basketball.